Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you for joining us again on a Friday Rune reading. This one is quite auspicious. It's at a very important time of year coming up, especially in the southern hemisphere. We're now harvesting. It's now time we get to see what's paid off. See what the actual harvest is. It's such an encouraging time of year because you get to see all your hard work really come to something. So, that in mind, let's see what the runes want to tell us. Talk to us, runes. Thank you for joining us. Oh, very interesting. Some of us don't even, some of the runes aren't even talking today. And that's beautiful. Hello everybody. So we drew the Justice card earlier. That's going to be a strong voice in this reading. It's probably the Major Arcana. The card you see is represented by Tyr, who's the god of truth. He lost his arm, interesting story. He lost his arm to Fenris. So get him to trust him. So there's a lot of lessons here with the Justice card, and being that it is the time of harvest, we find it very interesting. Justice is quite often the harvest. It's not a scary card if we've been behaving ourselves. So, let's see what's to come. Right, everybody, we're going to get into the rune work shortly. I do want to just a big shout out to some people that keep making this happen. Big shout out to Ethan Bernays, all the magic behind the camera, or directing. With the shorts, with everything on the channel, just down to the environment and keeping me going sometimes. It's just pep talks. So big shout out to Ethan, thank you very much, dude. I couldn't do this without you at all. Like, this is our channel. Franks, keep me smoking, the healthy stuff, and that's really nice. Once again, Herbie's a roller's friend, a smoker's friend, easy to roll and easy to smoke, by itself, lightweight and easy, just beautiful. And once again, really helps with the chest. The smokers battle a lot with coughing, a lot with tight chest, and smoking something healthy with healing herbs makes such an absolute difference, especially to those who don't want to give up their journey with that plant. And then I also just want to big shout out to Smart Tidy. Bradley is a long-time friend and client, and someone who's kept me going for a long time, and whose principles translate so nicely into the work we do with healing, with coaching, keeping your environment tidy and neat keeps your mind tidy and neat, a clean space. And we all know how important a clean head space is. If we don't, we've got bigger problems. Alrighty everybody, before we see which energies are speaking to us, I just want to quickly have a look at the energies which aren't speaking to us, the ones that jumped off the board. One that featured very prominently last reading is Theresa's. It's that Thor's power, that power of Mjolnir, that Mjolnir strike. It's that oomph, that go. It's a very powerful thing. So we would be like, we might ask, why is that energy not trying to talk to us this reading? It's a very good question, and I'm glad I asked it. Well, the answer is because we found that last week. We're in that power. We're walking in that power. It doesn't have to speak to us now. It is us now. We have that power. So that jumped off the board and trying to talk to us right now. Another one at this time is the harvest rune. It is Yera. What we have there, we're right in the middle of the harvest time now. We are experiencing our harvest. So it's an overwhelming energy. It's already the overwhelming voice for the reading. It doesn't have a hemisphere that it needs to speak into now. It's not even what soul wants, it's exactly what's happening. It is the prime evil, the archetypal force that we're dealing with right now. So, and then Berkana, very female rune, very female energy. I'm not foolish enough to think that I could ever try to understand the wiles and wisdoms of a woman, and therefore I've learned when a woman's not talking to you, they have a good reason. I'm not going to try guess at the reason why this woman's not talking to us in this reading. I just respect her quiet, her silence, and I'll let her stay quiet until she's ready, good and ready to speak to us again. Okay, everybody. Now we're going to get into the runes that are on the board and what they're saying. I do also just want to pay homage to the drinking horn. That's where we add the offerings and gifts we give them each time. I did say in a previous video I would show everyone. And I'm going to be making use of these cards, trying to repair my relationship with tarot through the runes on this journey. And so join me with it. As we go, I'm going to feel, if I feel led to pull one of the cards for extra clarity, I will do so, and let's see what happens. Right, we're looking at what soul wants, and there's nothing right in the center. There's nothing like directly there, which is interesting. We're at a nice time in our lives. I think a lot of people, a lot of seekers, a lot of querents who have started to receive what soul wants. Our desires, our core needs are starting to be met. Someone once pointed out to me the beautiful thing about being an adult is that we get to love our inner child like we never received, like we always thought we deserved. And so this harvest time, we're reaping what we've sown. Our soul's not wanting anything desperately. It's an interesting time. So what does soul want this week? Man, as always, the runes are so deep and elusive. Knowledge. Ken. Last week we were craving connection. And we see interesting where connection's sitting now. And it's not in the receiving, it's in the giving. Once we give that connection, soul wants knowledge. Soul wants knowledge this week. And it's a great time because how do we get knowledge? How do we get that harvest? How do we receive the knowledge that we're looking for? We have to put in effort again. We have to start learning. Learning's hard. Learning's the hard part. Learning's always painful, guys. What do we need to learn? Let's go into giving. This quadrant is here. And right near what soul wants is Uruz. That's still in the past, and that's again, this was a big one. It's that oomph, that's the get going, that's the start. It's the energy for the start. And we've got that now, we've been having that. So that's past, moving into the present. That's cool, that's well established. And that is something that we have. That is something that is here. Right? I've got that get up and go. So I can assume from this that I'm not just reading for myself. That this week has been a good week of everyone getting up in the morning, doing that was something that came up last week. Something that needs to be done more. Now we've got that. We're doing that. I can see people are waking up motivated. People are pushing, and it's that oomph that comes from without nonsense. That comes from within. I've had often people say to me in my life, do it for yourself, if no one else, do it for yourself. And I might be wrong on this. I'm happy to be wrong on many things. But often I feel that's the worst advice we can take is do it for everyone else, dude. Take some responsibility. Be the best version that you can be for society, not just for yourself. If you're on this journey and you're watching this video, it's because you're a truth seeker. You're called to do more. It's not even about you anymore. Second you think it is, that's, well, you're in for disappointment, my friend. Trust me, because it's not about you, and you cannot be fulfilled unless you're fulfilling the needs of others. You can't become who you're meant to be unless you've got, and what are we giving now? This is what we're craving, guys. This is what we craved last week in the center of what's so wise. This is what we were crying for, boys and girls. I'm just assuming because Burkana left earlier that I'm talking to a couple more boys at the moment. But this is what we were crying for, people. And we're receiving, no, we're giving it. That's the difference. Why do we have connections? One of those beautiful things, and this is actually even something we brought up last week, isn't it? It's the act of giving that blesses both sides. It's giving is the gift, The receiving is in the giving, and the giving is in the receiving. And it's such a difficult concept to grasp. And here we see it again. We give the connection. Give the things we so crave to receive. Especially something like connection. As you give it, it grows and it comes back. You receive it exponentially, and it's in the giving that you receive. And as humans, guys, we love connection. So you reach out, and the world reaches back. Every single person is an individual that craves being in a community. Right now, our soul wants knowledge. How are we going to gain knowledge? By sharing knowledge, guys. You'll get stuck in a book for hours, sure, but you lose all the context. In one conversation, a 10-minute conversation, you can learn more and teach more. And as you give, you receive, but you have to be open to receiving knowledge. Mr. Know-it-all, right? Like I said just now, it's okay to be wrong. Sometimes I prefer to be wrong. Seldom happens. A wise man once said, I think I'm quoting Sir Winston Churchill here, that said, I will be the first to admit when I'm wrong. And if that ever happens, I'll be sure to admit that first. Moving on, we are quite lucky, guys, having things like the runes and things like that, which do prepare us in advance for what's to come. I think what's important is learning from the wisdom of the lessons that we've received before. Otherwise, we are doomed to make the same mistake. So here we are, we're sitting in the present. There's a lot of giving going on in the present, so I'd like to unpack that. Well done, guys, you're giving a lot. Are you giving too much? This vehicle comes up often. That's the horse. It's a horse. how we get there. It doesn't look like a horse, it's a Rune. That's how we get there, and we're giving that in our present, which is great. We're giving others a vehicle to succeed, right? And in that already we are then by nature succeeding. The original definition of perfect is something which performs the role it was designed for adequately, perfectly. Perfection. So the perfect hammer is able to drive a nail into the wall. The perfect brick is able to form part of a wall. You can use a brick to drive a nail into the wall, but then it is neither a perfect brick nor a perfect hammer. So perfection isn't something that we can't achieve. Do what you're supposed to do and you're perfect. It's really that simple. Absolutely that simple. And this isn't coming from me, this is the rules. They just tell you straight up why we're sniveling on the same thing. I want to look at here what's sitting on the cusp between giving and holding firmly in the present is joy. It's so great, it's achievement. And in this time of harvest let's focus on cool and celebrate. Let's celebrate what we have achieved, you know. Sure, we could have grown that crop a bit better or this or that. Yeah, we lost some of that to this, or frost, whatever. I could have harvested earlier maybe, but look what we got, and let's party with what we got also before it spoils. Let's save what we can and then enjoy the wealth, you know, and we're holding that. And what's so beautiful is that sitting in holding and giving means we're keeping that joy and we're sharing that joy, guys. And I think that's absolutely important. Okay, the world tree Idrisil. And I'm just drawing this for the giving quadrant, just to see what sort of an energy we are working with again. Just some more clarity. So the world tree, I mean, a lot of people who are familiar with tarot and stuff, I don't really want to draw too much on the tarot energies, but it's again like the world is your oyster. Sitting here in the giving and in the present, it's very encouraging energy. I think a lot of us have been going through some struggles of late. There's the cooling of emotions, there's Isa, there's the ice rune, and I mean it's appropriate going into winter here in the southern hemisphere. It is an appropriate timing, absolute appropriate timing. Lying face down, and there's a couple of things it's lying on top of, and these things, they've got a lot of joy together. Why aren't you letting yourself feel the joy? That's unfair, don't you think? A little bit unfair. Here's the flow. You've got ice restricting the flow. And that's something's restricting your giving, your flow, and man, it comes back to again what you're not giving to yourself. Freezing your love for yourself, freezing your emotions, freezing your joy. You're not letting it go. You're not letting it flow. I don't want to rush through this part, guys. I'm seeing here there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff we need to unpack quick. For the week ahead, what have we been neglecting, guys? Some feelings. Let's see, there's a 3, the Hierophant. Cool. So the 10 of Staves. Coming to a place of mastering our feelings and our environment. And that's okay. So that can stabilize all these threes here. The Hierophant is another major arcana, so that's like a really great. Oh, look at him all being all Jesus-y there. Here we go. We've got white little Hierophants. Thank you. That's bringing beautiful, beautiful, pure, holy energy to what we're doing at the moment, guys. I'm worried about our threes. We've got another one to got here. Right, in your emotions, how are you feeling it at the moment? One of Cups. Emotions are raw, fresh feelings. There's the water again, and you're freezing it. So you gotta let yourself feel what you're busy feeling. This is a hard time. 3 of Swords. Who got this? Brave Viking, brave knight, surrounded by Vikings. Swords, not axes, swords in it. Beautiful Viking sword. There's the day rune at the bottom there. So and that's part of the hard part is that you're dealing with stuff you've created yourself. The good news is you're a third of the way through dealing with it. You're a third of the way through. Sure, the Hanged Man, another major arcana. You're reinventing yourself, and it's amazing. But you have to let yourself feel this. You have to let yourself feel that. There's the moon. It's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's exactly. And harvest time, you get to decide what those fields look like tomorrow. And we're growing corn if corn doesn't serve you, guys. And this is metaphorical, so please don't take it too literally, but as well literal. But so your seed's better, so your seed's in a better place. Give into your emotions, go with the flow. And you are starting to, that's in the present, you are starting to, but this is restricting you, hey? Restricting your joy, restricting your growth. There's the Dog Eyes rune that we saw there. Number 3. Here we go. Daylight. It's gonna get better. And that's in the future, in the giving. You have to give yourself that perspective. This isn't coming from receiving, remember that. This isn't the giving. What are we giving ourselves? A lot of 3s. Guys, and we'll probably get to this in holding, but just something that's really come up, and I think it's important to focus on, is not to become too attached. Don't become rigid like the ice. Become too attached to things. Opportunities. Remember, if you chase something, it runs away. And I think it's so important that we bear in mind that when we chase something, it runs away. Someone once asked me for advice, a younger male in my life. How do you get a shy girl to like you? And I said it's the same way you get a cat to let you spend time with them. You approach quietly and you sit and you observe, and you don't try to influence the things, you just let it flow. And as your flow comes, you either grow closer or you grow further apart, but you're not attached. It's not rigid, it's that rigidity that breaks. A rigid branch breaks. And that's how you gain a cat's trust and anything else. You feel it and you let it flow past. If the opportunity passes, it wasn't yours and it's past. And in giving. Just remember that. Just give that. Keep giving your sunshine. Keep being the day for everyone. Keep being that beautiful ray of hope. Even the days where you feel like you don't have that for you, be that for someone else. If for no other reason that they are you. Any suffering we decrease in the world decreases suffering in the world, and that decreases our suffering. But again, let's do better because we can. Let's be better because we can. Keep giving that, please. Right, we're gonna move from the giving and all of those threes. Give yourself time to have joy. Give yourself space to have feelings. And let them flow past. Let them flow. Yeah. Let them flow away. Don't be so attached to anything. Let's go to decisions. I think decisions, what soul wants is knowledge and is leaning towards decisions. So let's make some informed decisions, right? In the present, firmly in the present. Choosing that power of plasma, that breakthrough. We want wisdom, we want knowledge, we want wisdom. It's here. Odin is presenting us the opportunity. What do we want to know about? What do we want to know about? Page of Wands, we've got a message about our feelings. A message about our feelings, guys. We need to feel. Let's get in this ice. Feel the joy. Feel everything and let it flow. Such a strong call on emotions, this reading. Again, it's so encouraging because it's nice to know there's readings for other people out there, not just myself, because I'm very open with my emotions. I let them flow. I cry when I need to cry. Unashamedly, I love it. Absolutely love it. I love it because that's what gives us clarity. It's cleaning, it cleanses, gets rid of all the old shit, guys. After a cry, you're done. You just got snuffles, you blow your nose, you get that shit out your face, you get on with your life. If you haven't used Sananga in your life, I strongly recommend it. Ethan, what does Sananga feel like on your face, bro?
It hurts, but it's so much fun. so much clarity. Shout out to Franks,
yeah, we love him. It's the perspective. We don't, coming in the future, and we don't want to talk about this decision. It's the decision to get moving. It's the journey. You know, by now, you know. If you're interested in runes and you're watching readings, you know that the path you're supposed to be on. You know what you're supposed to be doing. So you're going to have to choose to do it just now. Choose to be yourself, your authentic self. Last week we had to give our authentic selves to ourselves. You have to choose to be that. Now you've presented it to the world and you've presented it to yourself. Yeah, I feel the feminine energies arriving again. Quite nice. How you made now? Feeling good. Cool. We've done the decisions. We know what decisions we need to make. So I always love to keep receiving for last. You'll realize that's a recurring theme. Holding. How do we holding? There's a lot happening here. So from the giving, moving across. The connection that we were giving is so beautiful. We're holding that connection too. So the connections that we're making now are lasting connections. lasting connection. Answers. We're holding answers. It's interesting, we're not giving answers, so you're not feeling defensive, you're not feeling in a place where you have to answer. You see, last time we had truth to us and giving truthful answers. Now we're holding the answers. You know the answers. You know. We have Otala in holding. As I don't read any meaning into reversed, I see what direction things are facing. So Otala, we have the crawl. So we're holding on to those things, those home values, the homestead, those things we hold dear. Good job holding on to that, as one should. That's quite important. That is quite important. Let's have a look. With that, there we go. You're the king of your emotions. It's your values, your homestead. You're the king. Like you're holding that down. You've got that. You've got that. There's the high priestess in your homestead that you're holding on to. I did feel that the feminine energy has returned. She like us again. Obviously, it's going into late afternoon. Yeah, so the moon has more pull. And that's the domain, as we know, of the high priestess, of the feminine divine. It's nice. Mama's home. She loves us. She's still here. Again, that's not something we're focusing on with this reading. That's why she wasn't trying to tell us. Not trying to tell us. There we go. Holding our truth inwards. We're holding the truth about our past to ourselves. We're holding our truthful answers. We gave them. We've been giving them last week. We did that, guys. Now we're keeping it in, right? Now you're keeping it home. And that's fine. That's where we have to. You don't want to advertise all of that all the time. Just give it when it's required. In our present, we have Fehu. In our future, we have Fehu, we have Freya. Beautiful, beautiful energy. There's the feminine, as we said, like just returning, and that's something we will in holding. So, and in the future, something we have. It's inherent. There's mama loving us. You got that. Don't worry, you're fine. And that's why, you know. Interesting, yeah, in the far future we have Ingwais, which is everything. We hold everything within us. We are the universe. We know this. There we go, King of Pentacles. There's with your hotala, there's your homestead. You're holding, you got money, car. King of Shields, you got money, car. It's coming, you're fine. Like, you know. And that's not even in receiving yet. Right? That's just holding. That's just holding. Right? Back to giving, we need to give ourselves emotion. We've been having what we need. You've got your resources, man. You harvest, what you're harvesting now is profit. It's profit. So then, Queen of Cups, you almost mastered your emotions, hey? Almost got it. Holding on to that. You're holding on to your emotions. Let it flow. Let the Queen. Look, she want to drink with you. Isn't it? She want to drink with you. So, cup, you can only fill it when it's empty. You gotta flow. Don't keep drinking the same shit. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Receiving, what are we getting? So, remember, it's exciting, but it's not always fun. So from the past, oh, there we go, coming into our present, we have what's behind door number one, some struggles, like nothing foreign to us, guys. Bit of suffering. We were talking about Sananga earlier. It's the privilege of pain. It's the privilege of suffering. And again, we've been receiving it. We've been getting struggles. Do you want to know what you're struggling with? I didn't even look at that yet. You tell me. That's why Shane took King's first. I bet you if I know. Oh look. So Four of Cups. We've been struggling. We've got the home. We nailed it, King. Yeah, King of Pentacles. We got the money. We've been struggling with love, accepting, receiving, finding it. We're in receiving, guys. Ladies, we're in receiving. We've been receiving. There's Ratatask messing with Yogmunda at the roots of Idrisil. We've been struggling. We're struggling with struggling. Isn't it the struggle that makes the struggle worse? I believe it was Aristotle, can't be wrong, who said that thinking about suffering means we're suffering already. This is the Eight of Pentacles again, Kings. Lock in, we're crying about dumb shit. While we let Yogmunda chew at the roots of Idrisil, we saw Idrisil come up earlier. Ratatask is running around spreading rumors. It's irrelevant. We're getting so caught up in the squirrel. We're suffering for free. I don't love that suffering is sitting in our receiving, guys. Judgment, we only receive judgment. And so if there's anyone out there that's waiting on a ruling this week, your time of waiting should be coming to an end. A ruling is coming, whether it be a court date or the final judgment. So someone who's just waiting to hear the outcome of whether they or ruling, how often they get to see their kids. That is coming and it's in your favor. And take heart, we're in receiving, and that's coming. And this time we're receiving that. Seven of Shields, we're receiving truth, we're receiving honor. Let's see, gifts. What soul wants? Knowledge. What this rune is knowledge in all directions. The gift rune, Gifu. That's all they can. You can see there, you can see there, you can see there, and you can see there. That's knowledge of all directions, and that's in the future. It's coming, and that's the far future in receiving. That's forever kind of receiving. There we go. Such beautiful artwork as well. You know, that's what you've been. You know, that's what you are. Hey, I love it because it's not like the card we had earlier. That was suffering, loss, the suffering at the loss. I mean, there's a beautiful unity. That's so beautiful, and then how it's represented here is the king and the queen, the high priest and the high priestess doing their own dance. They're performing their own roles that they were called to do, and in that beauty brings that unity, right? There we have the female rune. There's Bakana that didn't start with us in the shooting. This is the gift that we're receiving. And this, keep giving the connection, and we'll keep receiving that connection. Stay plugged into your community. If it's your church, whatever your local community is, there it is. Again. You're getting it? That's the message, guys. That's the point. There's your homestead. There's your tablet. Keep holding on to that. King of Pentacles, King of Wealth. We're doing. We got it, right? So this week to come, those are waiting for good news. Waiting for the outcome of a judgment. And let's remember, we started this reading with justice. Sometimes we fucked up. We fucked around, and this is the time of harvest. So I will find out. Yeah? So whatever happens in the coming week, guys, please remember, lads and ladies, take it with dignity. Any consequences in your life, the consequences of something you've done. There's a reason. And the most important part is how you deal with it now. Right? How graciously you deal with your consequences. You show that you understand. Otherwise, that lesson coming again, we craving knowledge. How badly do you want to know? How badly you trying to find out? Because we can do this dance again. Damn, and we've done it enough times though by now. You guys ready to do something different? Try something different. Because there's a lot of beautiful things coming. There's a lot of beautiful things in store for us. Right. Man, that's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Hey, who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want that? Choose your path. Choose to be yourself. Endless gifts. What a formula. Not even that hard. Alright, this is the summary, and this is what the reading is all about for this week. We started off, it is the harvest time. And we pulled this card right at the beginning. We've been trying cards this week, and that was fun. Pulled this card right at the beginning, which is Justice, the Justice card, which has had an overwhelming influence on the reading. Key points to remember, guys, is that we are restricting our emotions. We're not allowing them to flow. So we're missing out on a lot of the joy, right? And a lot of the opportunities. This you, that's the you. Tree, that's you. And it's also the feminine. You're blocking that. So Thor, not the god, THAW, your emotions a little, and flow. Cry it out, get it done. Right? From the quadrant of holding, I love it. What we hold on eternally is everything. I had to add that because that's important. And we have, very importantly, we've been holding, we were giving truthful answers last time. Now we're holding the truth and the answers in our hearts. Which is important because what soul wants is knowledge. What soul wanted last week was connection. What we see now, and we have abundance and connection, we found that in the giving and moving on to holding. So as we're giving connection, we're receiving connection. As we're giving knowledge, we're going to be receiving that knowledge. Alright, so we are restricting ourselves emotionally. That is the problem. For the week, that's the focus, the decisions. We already know who, from last week even, our authentic self is. Choose yourself. Choose to be yourself. The rider, the Rune, the ride, the journey, the chariot, you know the way. Choose the way. You know your calling, that's why you're here. And your power, you choose the divinity that empowers you. Channel that divine power. So those are the decisions for the week ahead. Choose yourself. Choose wisely. Choose sunscreen. What are you receiving, guys? This is the fun one. Sense of justice again. Alright, we're getting the gifts. We're receiving the gifts. Some of those come with suffering, struggle, hardship. We're receiving the homestead that we've always wanted. And yes, that's in the far future, but this is stuff, let's hold those goals firmly in mind. This time we also remember that the feminine divine is very busy being harvest time goddess. So we are receiving the struggle, very encouraging in this week. We will be receiving word of judgment that we've been waiting for. For some it's just going to be a relief that time of waiting is over. Some it's really good news. For others it's really bad news. And I ask once again that you handle that graciously. That speaks volumes about who you are to yourself and to everyone that's watching. Remember, I said at the beginning also, people say do it for yourself, do it for others. Be your best version of yourself for the people around you. That's your first responsibility. The effect you have on the people around you, your society, your community, has to be positive. After that, do it for yourself. Then blossom, make the art, become amazing. Shine and be your best self. But first, do it for the people around you. Thanks again everybody for joining us, and again to my sponsors and everyone that keeps me going. Couldn't do this without you, all the viewers. Until next week.